and welcome to another Lynne and Craig live stream. We're here to help you with your English and hopefully take your vocabulary, your grammar, your exam skills to the next level. If this is the first time watching, you're very, very welcome. My name's Craig from mansioningles.com, where you can study English for free if you are a Spanish speaker. And there's a podcast at inglespodcast.com that you can listen to every week, whether or not you're a Spanish speaker. And if you would like to practice your speaking, I do run conversation courses. There is one starting very soon for advanced level on the 11th of November. And there's a Sunday course starting this Sunday for the upper intermediate level. So we have different levels, whatever level you are. Send me an email or go to the website englishcraig.com and I will send you more information. And with me today from putitlikethis.com is my good friend Lynne. Hi, Lynne.
Hello, Craig. Hi. Nice to be here again. Hello, everybody. So my name is Lynne. I'm from putitlikethis.com. And and I'm an online language teacher. I specialize in tailor-making courses for people. So if you have a particular objective, then I try to help you design a course and I help you achieve that objective. And I don't work on Sundays, but Craig does, so that's great. But so well done, Craig, working on Sundays. But anyway, if you're interested in improving your English and you have a specific objective that you'd like me to help you with, then go to my website, putitlikethis.com. You can find information about the types of courses that I do, and then you can contact me over the website, and I'll be happy to get back in touch with you. Mm-hmm.
Putitlikethis.com. Go and look at the website. It's lovely. Okay, now, if you are joining us live, I can see people are coming in. Please say hello, say hi, tell us where you're from, so that we know somebody's there, because sometimes we do think, is this microphone working? Is it on? But if you are watching, please let us know. And if you're watching the replay of this video, thank you very much. We hope we'll be able to help you with some vocabulary. What are we going to talk about this week, Lynne?
Well, this week, I think if you've been with us before, you know that from September, we're trying to do 1 week a focus on vocabulary or grammar. And the other, 2 weeks later, we're going to focus on topics. And that's to try to help people who are preparing for exams. Because at B2, C1, C2 level, and even at B1 level 2, there's often an oral or a written component of the exams. In Cambridge, there's both. And those components focus on topics, and sometimes students say to us, in the exam we just have no ideas, we don't know what we're supposed to say about these things, and they run out of things to say. So our aim with the lesson today and the lesson that we do every second lesson is to try to not teach you so much vocabulary as such, but to try to encourage you to use the vocabulary you have and to try to generate ideas around the topic, so that we're going to try to push you to think about certain things and to try to formulate more answers, so that you stretch yourself a little bit in English. You say things that you maybe wouldn't normally say, maybe. So today our topic, we've pushed together 2 topics, and we thought tomorrow is Halloween. So celebrations is often a topic in all of these oral exams. And also clothes is a topic, a very common topic. You often get asked about clothes and about celebrations. So we pushed the 2 together, and today we're going to talk about clothes and celebrations. Yeah?
Yep, and be careful of the pronunciation of that word clothes. It's quite difficult to say. So if you are watching live, say it with us. Clothes. You have to put your tongue between your teeth. It's a bit tricky. Clothes and celebrations.
And clothes is 1 syllable. and it's difficult to say because people want to say clothers or clothers. If you are having difficulties, I would suggest first of all you think about the door. You know, you open the door and you close the door. Now, most people can say close, but close finishes with your teeth showing and your tongue behind your teeth. Close. Uh-huh. But if you put your tongue out between your teeth, then you get close. Close. So you stick your tongue out and then you push it back in. Close. And hopefully that will help you. Yeah.
Okay, let's say hi to Marlene, who's joining us from Malta. Hi, good to see you.
Nice
Thanks
to
for
see you
joining.
again.
And Concha's
And
in the house.
Concha. Hi,
Concha is
Concha.
in the house. Good to see you too,
Great.
Concha.
Lovely to see you too.
So, yeah, let's start with a question. Talking of clothes and celebrations, what kind of clothes do you love wearing and why?
Now, this is a typical question in an oral exam, and it's usually a direct question, right? So they say, what kind of clothes do you like wearing and why? And this kind of question can be asked at B1, at B2, and even at C1 level. So in the chat file, can you tell us what kind of clothes you love wearing and why? And maybe just before you start, just to remember two things, because there's a common mistake here. Remember that when we say I love, we follow, if we're following with a verb, we follow it with a gerund. I love wearing. I love wearing, not I love wear. Yeah. I love wearing. I love wearing. And then you say the clothes that you wear and say why. Okay. As well. You can also say alternatives to I love wearing, because if you repeat the same words the examiner gives you, you're not showing anything new. So maybe some of you might think of some alternatives to I love wearing. Have a go and try to write in the chat. And hello, Saida from Turkey. Hello.
I think it might be
Shader.
Shader? Shader, I'm guessing.
Shader. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. I don't know how to say that.
Hi,
letter.
Shader. Thank you
Shader.
for joining us, and we do apologize if we've mispronounced your name.
Yes.
So in preparation, though, I did wear something that I enjoy wearing. I'm into bright Hawaiian shirts. I like
Really?
wearing these, yeah, because they make me feel happy. They make me feel good. They're
Okay.
casual. And when I put one of these on, I just feel in a good mood. And they're comfortable, which is also
Yes.
a bonus as well.
Yeah.
So what
Hello,
about you
Coco.
watching? What are your
Tell us,
favorites?
please, in the chat, and then we'll flash up some of your answers and comment on them. While you're writing, for me, I love wearing different types of clothes, I think. I know what you mean about wearing bright colours, because I do think wearing bright colours makes you really happy. So I agree with you like that. Although today I haven't really got particularly a bright color. I've got a dark color on, but I have a little blue scarf. So I like wearing lots of different types of clothes. I really feel good when I'm wearing smart clothes. I like wearing smart clothes. So I like to go to work, for example, and dress smartly.
When you say
I don't know.
smart, do you mean like a jacket or a skirt? How would you describe
Well,
smart?
maybe a little bit more formally, yeah, like not casually, not with jeans and a t-shirt. Although I do enjoy wearing jeans and t-shirts, and I like wearing sports clothes as well. But I like wearing those at home, and I like wearing jeans when I'm walking around the town, for example. But if I go to work, I really enjoy dressing up for work. I like wearing other clothes for work, like maybe jackets or skirts or dresses.
I don't think that's the case for Concha, because I know that she had a corporate job for many
Uh-huh.
years. And I
Yeah, I
guess,
remember
well,
Concha.
she says she had to dress up. If you
Uh-huh.
dress up for work, that means you wear smart clothes. So for
Uh-huh.
many years, I'm guessing that Concha had to wear maybe a dress or jacket or very smart
Uh-huh.
clothes, a blouse,
Yeah.
and now she loves wearing casual clothes.
Because she feels more comfortable. That's lovely the way you express that as well, because I feel more comfortable. And you had to dress more formally, Concha, formally, for a lot of years. Yeah.
Be careful of the pronunciation of comfortable. That's sometimes
Uh-huh.
mispronounced as well.
Yeah.
Comfortable.
Comfortable. Yeah. Well, it's funny that now that I am older, it never used to matter to me if my clothes were. I used to choose my clothes because of fashion. So if the clothes were loose fitting, I would wear loose fitting clothes. If they were, oh,
Is that me or you?
that's me. Sorry. Ooh,
No, you know what? That's
it's
a
a civil
message.
protection alert. I'm sorry, everybody.
We should explain. We're both in Valencia in
Yeah.
Spain, and we're experiencing really strong winds and stormy weather. So we both at the same time got a really loud alert on our phone, an official message telling us to be very, very careful because it's windy, which in
And
England I
raining.
don't think people would bother because, yeah, we'd be used to it in the UK. But here in Spain, it's a bit windy, so they said a message on your phone. There's wind outside. Be
And
careful.
it's gone across the world now via live stream.
That's so funny. That's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Sorry about that. Sorry about the interference.
Anyway, back
So
back
I was
away from the
saying,
weather, back to
yeah,
clothes. You were
I was
saying.
saying that when I was younger, I would wear the clothes that were in fashion because I like to wear fashionable clothes. But now that I'm older, I ignore the fashion now, really. And I prefer, like Concha, I prefer comfortable clothes. So it's very rare now that I wear tight fitting clothes because I think I'm just not comfortable in them, in tight fitting clothes anymore.
Me neither.
Hmm.
I had
Yeah.
to wear a tie, a suit and tie when I worked in the UK in an office, and I hated it. I
Hmm.
felt I was being suffocated by the tie. It was very tight,
Hmm.
and doing the button of the shirt up here. And I was
Hmm.
so happy to come to Spain and wear more casual clothes.
Hmm. Hmm.
Marlene
Okay, we've got,
said
uh-huh.
when I was younger, she used to wear more revealing clothes.
Hmm.
Now she prefers casual clothes because she walks to work and needs to feel comfortable. Yeah, that makes
Hmm.
sense.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Casual clothes. Now, if you notice, I like your responses that you're giving here, because if you notice that Craig and I, we're trying to give examples, aren't we? And Craig was saying, yeah, I don't really like the tight clothes. I didn't like doing up the button on my shirt. Uh-huh. Now, if you do that in an oral exam, it's brilliant because you're showing to the examiners that you know more vocabulary than simply I like comfortable clothes or I like, so you try to show a variety of vocabulary. So it always helps if you can just extend a little bit and try to explain why, like the way I said, I used to follow the fashion, but now I prefer wearing loose clothes because tight clothes make me uncomfortable.
And there's
Okay.
one thing I'd like to add to what Lynn said, and it may be a bit controversial because if you're an examiner, you're not going to mark or judge a student on body language. But did you notice when I went like that, if you use your hands and you're physically explaining the English at the same time that you're saying the words, I think that helps communication. I'm a very, very strong believer in using your body to be open, to explain what you're saying, not only in an English exam, but in a job interview or any of these situations, because it breaks down barriers. Instead of sitting there with your arms folded and very closed body language, just try to use your hands more and communicate with your body. And that just sends a very, very positive message. The examiner's not going to give you extra marks, but it does create a much better image. Do you think so, Lynn?
Yes, I think so too. Yes, it shows that you're more engaged in trying to communicate something, and I think that that's very positive. Okay.
Coco says that she thinks it depends on the situation. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And Shada says, I love wearing clothes such as just jeans and a shirt, because she feels more relaxed when she wears them. Yeah,
Relaxed
absolutely.
with ED. I feel more relaxed when you wear them. The thing I love about jeans are lovely, aren't they? Because I
Yes.
think jeans, you can dress them up and you can dress them down. And jeans are like, usually, unless they're very tight, usually jeans are very comfortable. I think. Yeah. And I like it because you can wear it with a white shirt or a blouse and it looks very, very smart. And you can wear it with a t-shirt and you feel really casual and very comfortable.
I've got a joke about jeans. Would you like to hear it?
Go on then, Craig. We love your sense of
Well,
humour.
last month,
Uh-huh.
my auntie, whose name is Jean, came to visit me over here, and she came with her daughter, whose name is also Jean, and her mother, whose name is also Jean. And the four of us went to a nightclub. And the doorman on the nightclub said, "I'm sorry, you can't come inside." Because you're wearing training shoes. Now, normally you would say no jeans allowed. However, I turned it around and said, "I'm sorry, no, you're wearing training shoes."
That's a
I can't
horrible
believe
joke,
I
Craig.
had to explain that to you, and you didn't get it immediately. I can't believe you didn't get that immediately.
I think it was the delivery, don't you think, guys? It
I
was the
think it
delivery
was.
there. Yeah, sorry about that, Craig. Sorry, I was trying to
The
follow.
Lady of Shalott, friend of Robin Hood, said, "I would like to dress more smartly, but usually wear jeans and a t-shirt or a jumper to save time." Yeah, they're very easy, aren't they, to wear and
Yeah.
put on,
Yes,
jeans
that's
and
great.
casual clothes. Okay, well,
Okay.
yes, that's
So
fantastic.
the opposite question to this, of course, is what kind of clothes do you hate wearing and why? Okay, now we've already mentioned a couple that we hated wearing, didn't we?
Yeah, ties, shirts.
Here's a more going a little bit extending the topic a little bit, Craig. Do you feel powerful when you dress in certain types of clothes? Do you feel that certain types of clothes change? You said like the colorful clothes make you feel happy. So they kind of change your personality sometimes. Do you find they change your personality in any other kinds of ways? Because sometimes people talk about power dressing, and I remember when I was younger and I worked in a company, I felt that very strongly that when I used to put on a very smart suit, and I have to say, I'm ashamed to say it now because I'm more of a feminist, but when I used to put on higher heels,
You were taller than the men.
I was a bit taller, and I don't know, it used to make me feel a little bit more powerful. I know it sounds silly, but I did feel more in control when I felt I commanded more respect, maybe,
Maybe
that people,
maybe it was because you're a woman that you felt that. Well, I mean, was there
yeah.
any sexism in the office, or do you think you needed to show a bit more power because there were
I,
other men that
Yeah,
in,
yeah,
in positions of
I
power?
think
Maybe.
so. I think you had to sort of like if you didn't dress so powerfully, sometimes the way people responded to you was different. Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah, that
So
makes sense.
sometimes you need to dress in a certain way in order to achieve your goals, if you want to be respected and you want to be listened to, sometimes you have to wear a certain type of clothes. Do you think that's true?
It's not true for me when I wear formal
Uh-huh.
clothes. If I go to a wedding or back in the olden days when I used to dress in a suit for work, I just felt really uncomfortable. And I always felt because I'm quite short, I'm not very tall, I never looked good in a suit. So I felt more insecure
In
wearing
a
formal clothes
formal clothes
than
then.
it's just more me to wear casual clothes.
So
So
you
I never
felt
felt
best
that.
when you were like expressing your own kind of like you didn't feel the clothes were expressing your personality. You could express your personality when you were in clothes that you felt comfortable in.
Yes, but I didn't have the self-confidence to wear, for example, jeans and a t-shirt in a situation where more formal clothes were
Yeah,
accepted.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think now that's changing a lot, isn't it? Because a lot of people now in the offices, it's all casual. Men don't really wear ties in in some, not in as many companies as they used to.
No,
Mm-hmm.
it's got a dress
Mm-hmm.
code. The dress code has been relaxed a lot. Coco says that she doesn't like the dresses. I wouldn't use the there, Coco. I'd just say I don't like dresses because when
Dresses.
you're speaking about things in general, it's not necessary to use the article.
Yeah,
If
I
you
don't like dresses.
specify what kind of dress or dresses,
Uh-huh.
yes. For example, I don't like the dresses I have to wear for work,
Uh-huh.
for example. But if it's just dresses in
Dresses
general,
in
no,
general.
no the.
Yeah, and that's the same for sweaters, Coco, because you said earlier you love sweaters, and you don't like dresses. It's interesting, Coco, because I'm opposite. I love dresses because dresses are very cool. They keep me cool. And
You mean cool in the temperature sense or in
in
the fashion
temperature sense,
sense?
no, in temperature sense, when it's really hot, I think the best thing to wear is a dress. I feel so sorry for you guys in the 40-degree heat
With a
having to
tie.
wear trousers. A dress is the best thing you can wear in the summer when it's hot.
Oh, I should try
And
that next
and
time.
I don't, yeah, you should try it. And I don't like wearing sweaters really, because I often find that when you are outside, if it's cold, a sweater's lovely. But then when you come in, I get all hot and bothered when I'm inside. So um, I don't find sweaters very comfortable. I prefer cardigans, for example, because you can take them off. Uh-huh.
Coco says that dresses are uncomfortable. No S.
Mm-hmm.
The
Mm-hmm.
adjective does not agree or need to agree with the noun in English, so
Mm-hmm.
there's no S.
Uh-huh.
Dresses are uncomfortable.
Uh-huh. Somebody said they used to work in a hotel. Shaida. Uh-huh. Can you get that one? Mhm. She says, when I was working in a 5-star chain hotel, we had to wear uniform and high heels. At that time, I don't know why I felt so powerful and different from others. Yeah, I identify with you, Shida, because there's something about wearing a uniform and the high heels. It makes you feel, I don't know, I suppose it gives you a certain level of respect that you don't have to get from your own personality. Just the clothes gives you the respect. It's the same for uniforms for policemen or army
Because
or any
you're
kind of
because you're
uniform.
representing a bigger
Exactly.
body, like you're representing the hotel chain or the
Uh-huh.
police force, or you're representing something much bigger than you, which
Then you.
comes with authority.
Exactly. So you automatically get this, you get these freebies, if you like, this free, what would you call it? Free respect, really, don't you? Just from the clothes. No, you haven't done anything, but
Yeah.
people like think you're great and you haven't done anything yet.
Do you
Uh-huh.
think the same thing's true for school uniforms when children have to wear uniforms for school?
Oh, no. Well, no, no, I
Oh,
don't
probably
think
not.
so. No,
I
I think
hated I
that's
hated my school
different. Uh-huh.
uniform.
Yeah. Hmm.
Hated it.
I think it depends on what the uniform is, because I used to work in a supermarket, and it was my first job when I was a young girl, and when I worked in a supermarket, we also had a uniform. Hmm. And I didn't feel powerful in my uniform at all. I felt very embarrassed, actually, to have to wear the uniform because it wasn't very pretty. So I guess it depends on what kind of uniform you're wearing,
Yeah,
maybe.
absolutely.
Mhm.
Lady of Shalott says that the other way round. This refers to speaking about colourful clothes make you feel
Ah,
happy
mhm.
and positive, and she wears dark colours or dull colours. I like that
Dull
use of
colors.
dull, not
Dull, very
bright.
nice. Uh-huh.
When she feels blue. Lovely
Hmm.
language there. I
And
feel
that's it
blue.
is lovely. And also she's used the other way around, too. That's lovely if you're in a collaborative situation and you say yes, and the other way round too.
Vice
which means
versa.
vice versa. Very nice language. Very nice language there.
Concha says she hates wearing suits, or she hated probably in the past wearing suits and
Heels.
high heels.
And
Fortunately, this moment I don't need to wear them
them
anymore.
anymore.
Yes, you're
Yeah.
lucky.
Yeah.
Any
Okay.
other comments here? Marlene says, I prefer lighter and colourful clothing as dark clothes make me feel gloomy and nostalgic. Very nice. Yeah, emotions and clothing. Gloomy and nostalgic.
Two. Sorry, I haven't been doing my homework here. Craig and I have a new little technique here. We're trying to group together the wonderful language that you've given us. And
Paprika,
I'm supposed to be doing it and giving it to Craig, but I'm not very fast.
Don't worry, I'll say something while you're typing away
I've
there.
got
Paprika,
some. Here we go.
Paprika says, I think that's hate. I hate to wear sport clothes because they make me feel untidy. Yeah, but sports clothes I think are quite comfortable. I like sports clothes.
And Paprika, I don't know whether you were with us right at the beginning of the class, but we pointed out that after love and hate, I love, I hate, then if you're going to follow it with a verb, it's better to use the gerund there. I hate wearing sports clothes. I hate wearing sports clothes, or I love wearing sports clothes.
There is a small difference when you use the gerund. You're really talking about the activity of the clothes you're wearing that you like. Like you like the fact that you're wearing these clothes. When you use the infinitive, I like to wear, I like to go, I like to do, I hate to see. There's usually a reason or a result to it. For example, you could say, I hate to wear sports clothes because people might think I'm untidy. So there's kind of a result that connects to that use of the infinitive.
Yes.
So they are interchangeable. I agree with Lynn that the gerund is better, but there's a very slight nuance,
difference.
a very slight change in meaning between the gerund and infinitive.
Okay.
Okay, shall we move on? Because we've lots.
All right. So we've
talk
talked a little bit extensively about what kind of clothes we like wearing. Of course, most people were saying things like comfortable clothes, jeans, t-shirts. It also helps, especially at lower levels. If you're like B1, B2, try to say exactly the names of the clothes. I like to wear cardigans. I like to wear sweaters. I don't like high heels. I like flat shoes. I like trainers, because at lower levels, the examiners will give you marks for that kind of vocabulary. At higher levels, you need to be talking like what we were saying, I feel powerful when I wear this. You talk in a more sort of generalized form, those kind of adjectives, and the other way around too. That kind of language is more better at higher levels. Okay. Now, often they move from those concrete questions, and they might move in the exam to more abstract questions related to clothes, more for discussion a little bit. So they might say, we've got a couple of questions. Shall we put these up now, Craig?
Yeah,
The
which
discussion
one
questions.
do you want to go with first?
Okay, well, how about this one? Do you think dress codes are important? Why or why not?
And while you're thinking about that, if you are going to stay for the end, another 20, 25 minutes, we will give you the opportunity to come in and join us in the live stream and do the exam test with us. So right at the end, we're going to show you a C1 advanced oral speaking part of the exam. If you want to jump in and do it with us, then we'll send you the invitation and we'll send you a link to do that at the end. So hang around, stick around for that if you want to join us here. What do you think, Lynn? Do you think dress codes are important? We've spoken about office workers and
dress codes.
Kind of
I think I'm probably showing my age now, because like usually it's the older people who say yes, they're very important, and the younger people say no. And when I was younger, I didn't really like dress codes. But I do feel actually that dress codes are important. And I think it's important because sometimes dress codes, like we said in the hotel, when they, it sort of shows who's the authority. I think it also shows people how people should be spoken to. So if you're in a uniform in the hotel, usually people will speak to you as if they'll speak to you with respect. And if you are dressed in a very casual way, maybe people will not approach you with the same degree of respect. Now, obviously, that's not your problem, right? That's the problem of badly educated people who don't treat people equally. But I think dress codes are important because they put this sort of social expectation there in the room. Yeah. So, for example, if you see a policeman dressed as a policeman, you expect him to speak to you respectfully. Now, I know that there are exceptions and this might not always be the case. Yeah. But the general expectation of people is that the policeman or the man in authority will speak respectfully to you. When they don't, of course, then we go on social media and we call them out. You expect a bank manager, for example, I think, to be dressed in a certain way because it sort of gives you confidence that this is a person who's going to look after your money responsibly. If somebody is sitting there in holy jeans and like a rocker outfit, you might not feel so confident with that person.
So if you were flying somewhere, sorry to interrupt you, if you were flying somewhere in an aeroplane and you saw the pilot arrive in a pair of flip-flops or sandals, shorts and a Hawaiian shirt like this, would you have less confidence in his or her ability to fly the plane?
I think so.
I don't think I would.
Wouldn't you? No.
I don't like the idea of dress codes. I don't think you should judge a book by its cover. And I think you should dress the way you want. I really do think.
Well, for
I'm trying
example,
to think of examples where it would be necessary.
I can give you an example here right now because sometimes I'm an examiner. And one of you mentioned before that when you were younger, you used to wear revealing clothes. And I've had, and I think that when, for example, you go to an exam, whether it's an oral exam or a written exam, you should dress appropriately. And appropriately is in a way that doesn't distract other people, whether it's the other people who are taking the exam or the examiners.
So would you allow jeans in that?
No, well, there is no dress code particularly. I mean, for the exams, people come dressed as all sorts of things, but I can tell you that as an examiner, sometimes I find it extremely uncomfortable for me as an examiner when I'm trying to conduct an exam and there is somebody who is really inappropriately dressed in front of me. And when I mean inappropriately dressed, I mean very revealing, like falling out of their clothes.
Yeah, I think that's sometimes done on purpose.
Maybe it is.
Especially if there's a male examiner and it's a female.
Exactly. But I find it extremely distracting. And because it's distracting, it can affect it negatively. I mean, as an examiner, I have to act professionally and I have to listen and stop looking. But sometimes people come in such distracting outfits that it makes it difficult.
And piercings in that as well?
Yeah, sometimes like that as well. Sometimes people have come with like T-shirts with very offensive, like provocative statements on the T-shirts, you know? And or I've seen political statements, or I've seen people come in with with political tattoos as well. And of course, as an examiner, as a professional, I have to ignore all of that. but I'm also human and I get distracted, and it makes it very hard work for me to stop the distraction and just listen to the English. I think.
Hema, it's been a while. I was worried, Hema. Good to see you here as well,
Oh, hi,
because we
Emma.
thought that for some reason you were watching on Facebook, but we were not seeing your messages. So I'm really pleased that we are seeing your messages from Facebook, and hello to you. It's good to see you here.
Yeah.
Coco
Okay.
says, I do because we need to follow the dress code depending on the situation. I think
Yeah, I
that's in
agree.
response to working in a
Yeah.
hotel, perhaps.
About no, it was Shema who wrote, who
Ah,
worked in the
sorry.
hotel.
Yeah.
I think that was in response. Do we need to follow dress codes?
Yes.
And she says, yes, depending on the situation. I agree.
Hmm.
Marlena says, my job has a strict dress code. That's good. Strict dress code, because it's a religious organization. It's important to adhere to the ethos of the environment.
Whoa, lovely
Beautiful.
language. Lovely, Marlene.
Adhere means to stick to the ethos of the environment as a sign of respect for this spiritual place. And I understand that. Yes, you see that for example, imagine you are traveling around the world and you would like to visit a cathedral or a mosque, yeah, or a temple, for example. You might not be of that religion, but I think it's a sign of respect if they have a dress code inside to go in and respect the code of what the people there expect. I think that's a sign of
Yeah,
respect.
that's true, but then that's wandering into slightly different territory. That's more cultural, I think. And in the similar way, if you go to some really hot countries like India, Singapore, Malaysia, the policemen wear shorts, which you would not think of as a respectful uniform to wear in Europe, for example. If you saw a policeman in a pair of shorts, you might not take him or her very seriously.
No, I
So
think you. Well, I think you would. I think
it's cultural.
it's cultural, but I think, for example, when you said before that you don't agree with dress codes, like you don't think
In
it's
general, yeah.
in general, like in a bank or whatever. I mean, I think that is also cultural. It's a cultural heritage, isn't it? That bank managers dressed in suits and ties. It may well change in the future, but it's a cultural thing that we kind of
We've
it's
adopted from our
we've
upbringing in the
adopted, and
UK.
that's the way people kind of see it.
Paprika.
Paprika has a nice one too. Go
Go
ahead.
ahead. Okay, I
No,
think
go.
dress
You go.
codes are important in certain situations, such as protocolary acts. Oh, protocol, yeah. Weddings, ceremonies, but we must remember people are more than the clothes they wear.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I absolutely, absolutely. I
100%.
agree with that. That's true.
Right, I think we should move to celebrations for reasons
We
of
should.
time. So, changing tack a little bit,
To
changing
another little
topic,
topic.
which is kind of connected to clothes as well as
Yeah,
celebrations.
it
Let's
is.
ask you a similar question about celebrations. What kinds of celebrations do you enjoy? And why do you like them? There's a mistake there that needs to be,
What
do you
kind of
enjoy?
celebrations do you enjoy? Again, this is a question, just like what kinds of clothes do you like wearing? This is a question that is often in the beginning part of exams. What kinds of celebration do you enjoy? Why do you like them? Now, maybe do you have the banner with the prepositions,
I
Craig?
do.
Great, because this is a bit of a thing that we can just teach you. People often with the celebrations, they're times of year, and the prepositions are awful. It's a minefield. So you have to remember that it's at or during a period. So, for example, Christmas, we have Christmas Day, but Christmas is kind of a period. It's a few days, isn't it, together? Or Easter. So with a period of time, we often say at Christmas, at Easter, or during Christmas or during Easter. Now, if you are going to refer to a season, spring, summer, winter, autumn, I think I've done that all in the wrong order. Spring,
It
summer,
depends.
autumn, winter. Or January, February, March. Yeah. If you refer to a specific season or a month, then we use the preposition in. And if you use a specific date, now that can be the 4th of July, or
Independence
it
Day.
could be a single date, like your birthday is on a specific date, or Independence Day is a specific date, then you have to use on. Okay, right.
So back to the question. Now
Back
that
to the
you know
question.
which preposition to use, what celebrations do you enjoy, and why do you like them? We are getting very close to Halloween. In a couple of days, tomorrow night, and then the Day of the Dead on the 1st of November.
Yeah.
Is that one that you enjoy? Tell us. And while we're waiting, we'll tell you what we like. I know you like Christmas, Lynn.
I love Christmas.
Yeah.
I love Christmas very much.
Why?
Because I have lots of little family traditions that we do. It's a very hectic time, but I really love Christmas because I like it because all the family gets together. I like it because we do things in the family. I like it because of the food. I love giving presents. I like receiving presents. Obviously, when I was a kid, I loved getting my presents. But when I'm older now, I love giving presents. So I love like finding presents for my daughters, and I love seeing them when they receive their presents. Yeah, I just like Christmas. I like Christmas.
I like
I like the
Christmas.
lights and I like the food, and I'm not that keen on Halloween though. What about you?
Why not? Yeah, I quite like Halloween. I mean, we don't trick and treat like they do in the US, but I used to enjoy it more when I used to go out a lot, because when I did a pub quiz, we had a Halloween themed pub quiz, and I used to dress up with fancy dress with a mask, and that was a lot of fun. And I like Halloween parties where you dress up in fancy dress and go as Frankenstein or Dracula or something silly. I just think any excuse to be silly, I like. But speaking of Christmas, Lady of Shalott says that she loves Christmas because it reminds her of halcyon childhood memories.
Oh,
And I wasn't sure what halcyon actually meant, so I
no,
checked
me
it.
neither. What does it mean? You're
Well,
going to help us, Lady of Shalott?
I had to Google it, and it's denoting a period of time in the past that was idyllically happy and peaceful.
Oh, so very
The
nice. I
halcyon
like the
days of the
word.
mid
Halcyon.
1980s, when profits were soaring,
Oh, halcyon
and
days.
maybe soaring because I think it's also a mystical bird. So
Is it halcyon? Oh, okay. And is that the
yes,
way you pronounce it? Halcyon?
I have absolutely no idea. It was a stab in the dark. So maybe Lady of
Because I
Shalott can
think
tell us.
well, can you not see it on your, can you not see the phonetics?
Let me
Because
have a look.
I remember reading that. I've read
Halcyon.
that before. Halcyon, it is halcyon.
Halcyon. It is halcyon. Yeah, I was
Okay,
right.
great. You never know, students, you never know with English. You have to often check the pronunciation if they're not words that we've used before.
Marlena says, I'm drawn to celebrations where food and culture is involved. I found them meaningful and community oriented. So, for example, I love Christmas Italian style. Who doesn't love
Yeah,
Christmas Italian style?
uh-huh.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, cultural celebrations are something, aren't they? Because in Valencia, another question that they often ask you is, tell us about a local celebration in your country. So it's always useful as well before exams that you are prepared to be able to describe the celebration and what you do there and what people do. So you need to sort of like research that kind of vocabulary. But I liked Marlene's answer. And Paprika says, I enjoy celebrating Christmas and New Year with my family. It's a time for reflecting on the year that is ending and what we would like to do next year. I know where you're coming from. I hope you please notice that. I know where you're coming from with that one. That's an alternative to I agree with you. I can see where you're coming from with that reflection period, because I often feel it's the end of something and the beginning of something else. And it's kind of like it's definitely a moment in the year where I feel something new is starting. I
Yeah,
don't have
that's.
this continual sensation of time. I have this rotational sensation of time. Uh-huh.
But no, I agree with Paprika. I really like Christmas for that's one main reason, because it's a time for reflecting and looking forward to the new year that's
Yeah.
coming. And
Uh-huh.
Hema said, I don't have a distinction. I like all of them, but maybe less this year. Yeah, this year
Uh-huh.
has been quite tumultuous and quite disturbing
Yeah.
news wise. So I totally
Yeah.
understand that.
Yeah.
And I hope you're doing okay, Hema.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Where are
And
we? So, oh, should we have one question before we go
yeah,
into
let's have
the
one more
exam
question.
tasks?
Uh-huh. Well, this is a
Halloween.
question that I have about Halloween. Halloween is a global phenomenon now. What do you think about this globalization of festivals? Do you think it's a good idea or not? Because, for example, when we moved to Spain here 20 years ago, 24 years ago, Halloween wasn't very well known at all. It was practically non-existent. And I celebrated Halloween because in England we did celebrate Halloween. And I remember getting a pumpkin and doing a little Halloween tea party with my kids. But it was pretty much like it was only mentioned in the English schools that were teaching English. But now in Spain, Halloween is something else. It's a phenomena. And I mean, like in my area, the row, I have a little pedestrian area with some local shops. And for the last week, they have been decorating everything with Halloween. And the shops are full of Halloween things everywhere. It's
But it's
astonishing to
commercialism.
me.
It's commercialism, and it's really just to make money, I think. And sadly, not for everybody. I mean, I know there are religious people who enjoy Christmas, and we've heard from a couple of people here today. But also, Christmas is a similar festival where the sales start and Christmas presents, and you have to, if you're British, send Christmas cards and buy presents for people, and it's all a way to get people to spend money.
Yeah.
The commercialization of it. Obviously, there's a very strong religious aspect to it as well. But a lot of the reason for the globalization of these festivals is making money.
True. That is true. Uh-huh. What do you think? Do you agree or not?
Do you agree with
Uh-huh.
this or not?
Uh-huh. There is something though as well about what do you think? There was another question that's interesting about traditional festivals in your country. Have you got that one? Yeah, because what do you think about traditional festivals in your country? Are they becoming more for the tourists than the locals? Because this aspect that you mention about making money out of these kind of celebrations, that happens also to local traditional cultural festivals, because in Valencia we have the celebration of Fallas, which is a really traditional festival in Valencia. And that over the last 24 years has become a global tourist attraction as well.
Yes. Although, to what extent it's actually shared with tourists is another question. I don't think it's particularly open when everybody eats inside the little tent.
No, I mean, I think you've got like, you seem to have like two festivals running in parallel, don't you? One for the locals who are carrying the whole festival, and the tourists are there like just observing and having drinks and food. That's true. But they're not really involved in the festival as such, are they?
No,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
that's true. A
Uh-huh.
couple of comments we've got here. Paprika says, I think we can take what works for us and what we don't, we should respect it from a distance. Yeah, absolutely. In Mexico, there's always a debate about whether, different spelling, same pronunciation. The weather you need there, Paprika, is Whether. Whether or not we should celebrate Halloween. Yeah, but you celebrate the 1st of November very strongly in Mexico. The Day of the Dead is a very widely celebrated Mexican festival.
I would be interested to know, Paprika, what the tourists do, because I think the Day of the Dead is a very well-known festival here in Europe, and I'm sure that people go, to Mexico for the Day of the Dead to experience it. So it must attract a lot of tourists as well. And how do the tourists participate in that Day of the Dead? Is it like here in Valencia where you kind of have the locals celebrating it in their way and the tourists looking in, or are the tourists really involved in the festival? Mm-hmm. We have another example in Spain, which is the tomato fight in Buñol. I don't know if any of you have heard about that. It's called La Tomatina. It's a village in the Valencian region, and they have a day where they throw tomato. They have a massive tomato fight in the middle of the village. So they throw tomatoes at each other. Now that is an example of a festival where the tourists really do join in, because they really do throw the tomatoes. So that's one where they really do participate.
That seems very inclusive.
It's become more globalized, but like it hasn't transferred to another country, I don't think. It's just here. But
I think that's true. Okay, well, before we look at the other comments that have come in, I've just put the link in the chat that you can use to join us if you want to come in and do the C1 speaking test part 3 with us. So we're going to show you how that works. We'll run through it. But if you want to come in and participate with us, then jump in with that link, put that link in your browser, and you're more than welcome to come in and have some fun with us and do the speaking test, and hopefully use some of the vocabulary that we've been talking about for the last hour or so. Here's the link. And while you're thinking about whether you want to jump in and do that and come outside your comfort zone a little, come on, Marlene, you can jump in. Concha.
Shall I share my screen then now to show the...
Not just yet, because there are a couple of other... While we're waiting to see if anybody wants to join us, we've got a couple more comments to look at. Paprika Comino, what a lovely name.
Day of the Dead is a very traditional celebration in Mexico. I like it very much, but it's a bittersweet moment for me every year. Very nice, bittersweet moment. And Shada from Turkey. I do hope we're saying your name right, Shada. I'm sorry if I'm not. I am from Turkey and I'm a Muslim, but I really like your Christmas period. Perhaps affecting of too much Christmas genre movies or because of family ties.
Maybe due to?
Perhaps due to too many Christmas genre movies or because of family ties.
Too many might be a negative thing to say, because of many, perhaps. Because if you really like it, then you wouldn't be seeing too many
You'd
movies.
say because of a lot of Christmas genre movies, or many family ties.
It's a family celebration.
Yeah, I think so.
Marlene says, I support the globalization of events as long as people recognize the business aspect, as Craig said. Thank you. And view them as an entertaining way to spend time together. The
reason I don't like Halloween, I didn't say why I don't like Halloween, but the real reason I don't like Halloween is that it's always kind of a cold, dark time of the year. It's always when the clocks have just changed and it's pitch black outside now. To walk around the streets when it's dark and cold, it reminds me of when I grew up in England and it was dark and cold going around on Halloween. I hated it. I hated it.
I love it.
No, so I'm not a person who likes to be outside when it's dark and cold.
The weather we've got here with the storm.
I don't like Halloween.
The weather we've got with the rain and the wind and the storm is my perfect weather. I love this
weather.
Really?
You love that weather?
I love it.
Craig,
I'm in the wrong country.
Weather.
I'm in the wrong country.
I hate that weather. I don't want to go outside when it's windy and rainy and wet and cold and dark. Oh, no.
Okay, shall we do the...
Right. So I'll share the screen,
share your screen and we'll run through the discussion.
Share screen. Let me second.
So this will be part 3 of, we think, the C1 Cambridge speaking test. where you have to collaborate with your partner, and you get shown a rubric, a text that looks something like this, and you have to speak about it, and you have 2 minutes to discuss. Oh, you've taken it off, I think.
Yes, I've taken it off. Sorry, because I haven't got the right. I haven't clicked the right button. Excuse me. Sorry.
Okay,
You keep
no
talking. Sorry.
So yeah, you
Share
have
screen.
2 minutes to discuss the different ideas on the rubric, on the card, and then you have to try in the final minute to reach some kind of conclusion or decision with your partner. Now, it's not necessary to agree or arrive at that decision or conclusion, but you should try to get there. So the examiners are listening for you to move the task forward, to not only discuss one idea, to discuss more than one, and also to move the task forward in the final minute to try and arrive at that conclusion or that decision.
Am I sharing the screen now? Yeah, perfect.
You are, but it's not on full
It's not
screen.
on full screen. Right. Sorry, just a second then. What am I doing? Oh, I'm not doing very well at the moment. Let me try again.
No worries.
Let me try again. Present. Share screen. Oh my goodness. You know,
Emma-
you wouldn't
Emma
think
says,
we've
"I
been
don't-
doing this for a long
also-
time, would you?
Wait till we get to the new software next month when we
Oh,
change
goodness
from
me.
StreamYard. That will be fun." Emma says, "I don't have dark and cold days." Yeah, you live in Spain, don't you, Emma? So it's usually sunny and bright.
Yeah. Am I
as do we.
sharing now?
Yes, you are. Here we are.
Oh,
Here
thank
it
you.
is.
There you go. Right. Okay. Now this one is a one that would probably be at sort of C1 level, maybe going to C2 level, because you only have a couple of minutes to discuss this. And you can see that these topics are very, very broad. There's a lot of things you could have, like a discussion on each one of them, I think, for several minutes. So you have to be quite fluent with this one. But we're going to demonstrate it for you, unless, is anybody going to come in? Has anybody volunteered, Craig?
Nobody has volunteered at the moment, so I think we'll just do it between the two of us.
We'll do it between the two of us. So it's a collaborative task, and the examiner will show you this, and they will ask you to discuss it for a couple of minutes. And then they might, in the Cambridge exam, they interrupt you, and then they give you 1 minute to make a decision about an additional question. Okay? Now, in these types of questions, notice always, you should always focus on the main question, which is, to what extent can clothes affect these areas of life? Now, many people in their nervous state, they ignore that question and they just start talking about, I like this, or I don't, or I think, yeah. But always notice the question. It says, to what extent? So it's like, how far does it? And what the examiners would like, really, ideally, to hear is you comparing. You know, on the one hand, it can affect you in this respect, but in the other, in this respect. That's the kind of comparison language. If you can give that kind of language as you're discussing, that is like higher C1, C2 language. It's going to push you into more areas. Don't stick with the I like or I don't, because that's too familiar. All right.
And if you look at these words around the end, not the words in the middle, work, the environment, happiness, we've been speaking about these areas during this live stream. So we've already given you lots of ideas and lots of vocabulary that you could use to answer this question.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay,
So
my
shall
timer
we
is
go?
ready.
You've got the timer, your
clock.
timing.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
I'll give the instruction. So now I'd like you to talk together, Craig and Lynn, and talk about to what extent clothes can affect these areas of life. Talk together. Would you like to start, Craig? or shall
Yes, well,
I?
let's look at happiness first because I think there are some clothes that make us feel happy and some clothes that maybe make us feel a bit unhappy. What do you
Yeah, of
think?
course. Like, I mean, bright colors. Bright colors make you feel, they put a smile on your face. Sometimes if you're feeling a little bit blue, maybe you dress in darker colors. You don't
Yeah,
really
dull
want to be
colors.
noticed. And I also think that the colors that you wear can also trigger responses in other people. So when you're bright and colorful, people smile at you. When you're kind of dull and drab, maybe you go less noticed. Do you think
Yeah,
that's true?
absolutely. I see where you're coming from. I think it
Mm-hmm.
does affect us in that way.
Mm-hmm.
Let's move on to work now. What
Mm-hmm.
do you think about work? Because I think in the workplace there is a dress code very often, and
Yeah.
the clothes you wear can affect people's attitude towards you, don't you
Yeah,
think?
yeah, and I think in work, I think we expect to see certain dress codes in certain places. If you go into a bank, you expect people to be dressed smartly in suits. If you go to a hotel, you really want to be able to recognize who works in the hotel and who is a guest, because you don't
Hmm.
want to speak to the wrong person. The same in hospitals. You expect to see uniforms or for the doctors and the nurses, because you need to know who is working there and who is not. So I think in work, uniforms can be very important. Yeah.
Absolutely, and
Hmm.
yeah, they also demand respect in some
Yeah.
professions.
And I think clothes also can adapt, they can affect your personality. Many people say that clothes give them the ability to express their personality. So often outside of work, they like to dress, not in uniform, obviously, but they like to dress in the clothes that express the way they feel about life. So maybe like sporty people prefer to dress in comfortable sports clothes all the time. People who follow fashion, who like to see themselves as, at the following the pulse of culture, then they want to dress in a very sort of remarkable way,
On the
maybe.
other hand, some people like to be more individualistic and put their
Mm,
own stamp of their personality on what they're wearing. And that's the end
absolutely.
of 2 minutes.
Okay.
Actually, two and a
Thank
half.
you. And now I'd like you have a minute to decide in which area of life you think clothes have the largest or make the biggest impact. Hmm.
Well, we haven't
Hmm.
spoken about culture and the environment, and I'm drawn to the environment because of the idea of fast fashion and the way that
Mm.
people buy clothes and throw them away within a month of actually purchasing them. And
Hmm.
that's very detrimental and damaging to the environment. Don't you agree?
I agree. And I think that is a problem we're going to have in the next couple of decades, because it's very specifically a problem from the last 20, 30 years. And I think we're reaching a tipping point. I think we've gone beyond the tipping point. We have way too much waste that is to do with
On the tip.
clothes. uh and it's on the tip, exactly. And in the past, people used to reuse clothes, or they used to use the fabrics for far longer, and with fast fashion, as you say, it's a real environmental problem now,
So,
I
would you
think.
agree that maybe the environment is the area that most affects fashion and life and
Yeah,
clothes?
yeah. I think it has a biggest impact on the end on our lives in the future. It will definitely have the
Okay,
biggest impact on us. Hmm.
that's true. That's the end of a
Okay.
minute.
All right.
Well
Okay.
done,
Now,
Lynn.
obviously, well done, Craig. Obviously, guys, we are native speakers, but we're trying to show you. It's. I don't think, like, at C1, we were definitely speaking above C1 level. I think, with some of our vocabulary
Tipping
there.
point. Yeah.
Tipping point was I was pushing it a little bit towards C2. Please forgive me. But what I would like you to see from our demonstration there is the way that we interacted with one another. Noticed we didn't spend a long time saying things like, I absolutely agree with you, or I couldn't agree more. We didn't use these stock phrases, which some people do at lower levels, which is okay. Yeah, it's okay at lower levels. But when you get to higher levels, you really need to tackle the topic. You can't fit, so you have to talk about things like fast fashion or respect at work or happiness. You have to be able to see those words and be able to generate some ideas. Now, all through the class today, we were generating ideas. And obviously, if we hadn't done the class, if somebody put that in front of Craig and I, maybe we wouldn't have spoken the way we did. But what I'm trying to say is that it's important to prepare for these exams, you know, for these topics. So you need to look at those and you need to generate some ideas beyond I like wearing comfortable clothes. Yeah. I mean, we haven't talked at all about how clothes affect culture, but that's a massive topic about how clothes affect culture.
So notice that it's not necessary to discuss all of those 5 topics, but
Yeah.
you should try to move the task forward and not just speak about one for the whole 2 or 3 minutes. So that's something to remember. And today we've looked at that specific area connected to clothes and celebrations. Next time we look at exam material, we will cover a different area of vocabulary that we hope will be useful for you.
Another topic area. But the next one that we do is going to be related to language. So not to topic, but more to language. Okay. Oh, we've gone over. I'm very sorry. I do hope you've enjoyed today.
Are you apologising to me or to the
to everybody? To everybody. I'm sorry.
Well, we want to thank you for keeping us company and being with us. If this is your first time watching, or if you're watching the replay, thank you very much for being with us. My name's Craig from mansioningles.com, where you can study for free if you're a Spanish speaker. And we also have some courses for sale in the Mansion Ingles store. I was going to say shop, and then I said store, and I said store. Also, we have a podcast at inglespodcast.com. That's weekly. You can find it on that website or wherever you listen to your podcasts. And if you're interested in actually speaking, and nobody came in to join us today to practice speaking, hopefully next time you will. But if you want to join a small group of lovely people and speak with me privately on Zoom with just 6 or 7 other people, then my conversation courses are starting very, very soon for November. Go to the website, englishcraig.com, book a free 10-minute Zoom call with me, and I will give you all the details you need and answer all your questions.
Okay, and it's a quick goodbye from me then. I'm Lynn, I'm from putitlikethis.com. If you go to my website, you can find out more about the type of online courses that I offer. And my aim generally is to try to help you find your voice in English and achieve the objectives that you have in English. So if you're interested, go to putitlikethis.com and you can contact me. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed it, and thanks to you all, and have a nice Halloween. And
Yes,
I hope
festival.
you enjoy wearing your clothes and enjoy the celebration.
Take care, everybody. We'll see
All
you
right.
next